You booked the perfect room. The bed is wider than the one at home. The sheets are crisp. The pillows are soft. And the hallway outside is completely silent. Everything about this place is more comfortable than your own bedroom. So why did you lie awake half the night? You blame the coffee. You blame the travel. You blame the strange shape of the ceiling above you. But the real answer is far stranger than any of those. Because something inside you decided all on its own that this beautiful, safe, expensive room was not safe at all. And it kept part of you awake on purpose. Scientists have a name for this. They call it the first night effect. For decades, sleep researchers noticed something annoying. Whenever they brought a healthy person into a sleep lab and wired them up for the night, that first night was always a mess. The person slept lightly. They woke more often. Their deep sleep shrank. So researchers learned to throw the first night away entirely and only trust the data from night 2. The first night was garbage. Everybody knew it. Nobody knew why. Then a team decided to actually look. At Brown University, a researcher named Masako Tamaki, working with a scientist named Yuka Sasaki, ran an experiment to find out what your brain was really doing on that restless first night. They used advanced brain imaging to watch sleeping people, not as one single sleeping blob, but as two separate halves, a left hemisphere, a right hemisphere. And what they found in 2016 changed how we understand sleep in humans. Your two brain halves were not sleeping the same way. One side, the left hemisphere, refused to go all the way under. While the right side sank into deep, slow, restorative sleep, the left side stayed shallow, alert, half listening. It was as if one half of your brain had agreed to sleep only if the other half promised to stand guard. And here is the part that should give you chills. When the researchers played a soft, unexpected sound into the sleeping person's ear, the guarding half woke up faster and reacted harder than the sleeping half ever did. Your brain wasn't broken that first night. It was on watch. Think about what that means. You paid for the nice room. You locked the door. You knew, consciously, that you were safe. But a much older part of you did not get the memo. That older part looked at the unfamiliar walls and the unfamiliar smells and the unfamiliar sounds and made a decision that had nothing to do with your opinion. It decided that a new place is a dangerous place, and it kept one eye open. Why would your brain do something so exhausting? To answer that, you have to leave the hotel room and go back. Not a few years, not a few centuries, hundreds of thousands of years, to a time when your ancestors had no locked doors, no walls, no alarm systems, just a body lying in the open and a night full of things that wanted to eat it. For almost all of human history, sleep was the most dangerous thing you did every single day. When you sleep, you go blind. You go deaf to most sounds. You lie down, motionless, and you switch off the very brain that keeps you alive. For a small, slow, clawless animal like early humans, that was an enormous gamble. A predator that found you sleeping found an easy meal. So the humans who survived long enough to become your ancestors were not the ones who slept the deepest in strange places. They were the ones who slept a little worse, the ones who stayed slightly alert, the nervous ones, the light sleepers, the ones who woke at the snap of a twig. You are the descendant of the anxious ones. And here is the strange gift they left inside you. Your brain learned to treat familiar and unfamiliar as two completely different levels of safety. In a place you know well, your brain has already mapped every sound. The creak of that pipe, the hum of that fridge, the particular way your window rattles in wind. It has filed all of it under harmless, so it lets you sink all the way down. But drop that same brain into a room it has never mapped, and every sound becomes a question mark. Every unknown noise could be nothing, or it could be the twig. So your brain does the math your ancestors did. Better to lose a little sleep than to lose everything. But your brain didn't invent this trick. It borrowed it. Because this exact strategy, one half of the brain sleeping while the other half watches, already existed in nature, long before humans did. And once you see where it comes from, you'll never look at a sleeping animal the same way again. Consider the dolphin. A dolphin can never fully fall asleep. If it did, it would stop swimming, stop rising to the surface, and it would drown. So a dolphin sleeps with only one half of its brain at a time. Half goes dark and rests. The other half stays awake to keep it swimming and breathing. One eye closes. The opposite eye stays open, scanning the water. Then, hours later, the halves switch. This is called unihemisphere.